And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us here. We got Coach Bob Henriquez in studio with us, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser. We're going to talk about the portability of your homestead, the homestead cap, insurances, other major topics happening in Florida real estate, as well as national news. Trump threatens to ban Wall Street investments in single-family homes. Big topic, big story there as well to cover. Trump kid accounts as well. Another great initiative by the Trump administration. I love the idea of getting kids involved in investments here and, having that legacy to start building on. And as you know, my wife Lindsay and I own a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay, Platinum MVP team, Keller Realty, and we always feature our listings live on air. So let's start off with a couple listings here. We've got the Weeki Wachee Marina, $3.5 million listing on Shoreline Boulevard up in Weeki Wachee, home of the Mermaids. You got 3/4 of an acre lot here. This is a waterfront business with irreplaceable real estate. Your direct access to the Weeki Wachee River out to the Gulf. And you have multiple income streams here. You have a retail store, perfect for, you also have a live-in manager as well. You have a rental, that is. You have boat rentals, kayak, paddleboard, dock space, boat rentals, and multiple income streams. Also, it's a Suzuki servicer. So you can you have motor repair business as well for your boats and your vessels. Weeki Wachee Marina, one of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty. And 369 West Winds Drive, another single-family home here in a boating community. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage property, 14 square feet. It's been renovated, so completely renovated, updated, and it is staged as well. Beautiful property. Baywood Village. It's a true Gulf front community offering optional HOA of just $60. You have a boat ramp in the community. So bring your boats, bring your jet skis, enjoy that Florida lifestyle to the fullest right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. You can search the MLS there as well. And to see all of our radio, TV show expert contributors, check us out at consumerqb.com.
Only in America, dreaming in red, white, and blue.
All right, we got Bob Henriquez in studio with us. Coach Bob Henriquez, welcome back in, sir.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. I can't believe it. You've been doing this 10 years now?
12 now.
12?
Yeah, 12
I think
years.
I've been on every year.
It's been a while,
it's great to see you.
Yeah, man. Yep. Thank you so much. Likewise. And, we played ball against each other 30 years ago. You were the coach. I was a quarterback for the LaBelle.
I was a young coach.
Yeah.
You were a young player.
Yeah.
That was a great game. I think about it often.
Yeah, man. That was good times. I remember I used to get calls because that game would replay on Bright House Game of the Week back when it was Bright House, not Spectrum.
Yeah.
And I'd get calls and text messages and, hey, I see you on TV. And you had a great team. You had Kenny Kelly, Daryl Jackson, Quincy Hips. Yeah. And we had a team that was just slightly better that night. And we won 37-35, went to the state. But, that coach up there, that team that we played at state, it's one of those teams that recruited. They were able to recruit. And, here we are, a bunch of small-town country boys coming up and, playing those guys up in Lake Butler, Union County. It's tough to beat a team that recruits when you're a small town.
Understood. Yeah. No, they were. We were looking forward to that matchup if it came about, but you guys had other plans. It was a great game, and I think it was a Gramatica that beat us actually, but with a long field goal.
That's right. Yeah. Bill Gramatica.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, we got Martin Gramatica coming up next as well. He's representing Clearview Imaging Center here. The former Buccaneer and Super Bowl winner Martin Gramatica coming up next here as well. So, yeah, Coach, I'll let you kick it off. Where do you want to start, sir?
Gosh, well, wherever you like. I mean, obviously the hot topic is property tax reform in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
We could probably do 2 hours on that. There's a lot going on with that. Just anything that you that you may think of. Just talk about the office, or or football. I'm up for whatever.
I know, right? Yeah, there's so many things we could talk about. I think what's topical right now is you have this topic and this overall blanket of affordability. affordability.
Right.
You know, you have the affordability. We had hurricanes decimated the state a couple years in a row. So insurances, you know, what is the home portability? And then, yes, I'm for the elimination of property taxes. Now, how's it going to be paid for? That's the big overarching conversation to be had.
Well, again, and I think we could boil it down this way, and ultimately it's going to be up to the voters to decide, depending. And you know, before we came on the air, you said, "Well, I'm for it." I guess the question is, what are we for? Because we don't know yet.
Yes,
it's conceptual at this point. So whenever you're dealing, in my experience, having been in the legislature, and obviously firsthand, I know how the property tax process works from the standpoint of assessed values, of assessing the values of properties. You know, I don't have a dog in the fight personally from the standpoint of my job, because the property taxes are still going to exist in one way or the other. So, for some portion of it, this is really boils down to what I call the 3 Ps, Brandon. So there's whenever you're dealing with a big issue, there's the politics of it, there's the policy aspect of it, and then there's the practical aspect of it. And I think that this may apply more than any other issue that we can think of on all 3 phases.
Yeah.
This really started with I believe, from the political realm, the governor coming up with this idea: we're going to do away with property taxes altogether.
Okay.
And listen, you know, I'm for that. I'm mad at myself twice a year, you know, and when it comes down to it, especially given the fact that there's a lot of economic insecurity and out there right now, and people are facing, you know, higher costs and just about everything, and particularly property insurance from when we're talking about that. But so you throw out this idea. Well, then I think they realized that was too much of a big bite at the apple. But you get the political splash from that. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's what you do. You go for the gusto, and you end up somewhere else. Ultimately, it's going to end up on the ballot. So you've got to pass this thing. 60% of the voters have to vote for it. So now it's kind of morphed itself towards just talking about homesteaded property.
Yeah.
And that's understandable, because the vast majority of voters are homesteaded property owners. So you know, those are the ones you want to talk to.
Yes.
I think that's probably there is room for property tax reform. Mm-hmm. But I think there's this thing that we always had in the legislature called the law of unintended consequences.
Right.
So the policy of this is very, very complicated. Okay, and so that's what the legislature is wrestling with now is what exactly is it going to look like?
Yeah.
What can we, and then practically speaking, how do we make this happen in a way that still keeps a stable revenue source so the government can run? It's still there are services that each of us expect, right? That cost a certain amount. Now we can all argue that there's a certain amount of wasteful spending, and there there is, and they're going about that process.
Yeah.
But is there enough of that to really backfill or make up the loss of doing away with all homesteaded property?
Yeah.
The reality of that is no. And so where does it come from? Mm-hmm. There's not a real discussion, because that's the difficult discussion of how do you backfill what's lost.
Sure.
There's 2 major sources of revenue in the state: property taxes and sales tax. So the initial discussion was, well, we'll raise the sales tax. Well, I think that's not necessarily very popular politically or individually when you start to think about that, paying 9, 10, 12% sales tax. It's regressive, you know, and from the standpoint of you know philosophically, you can have that argument, but it's also very cyclical depending on what the economy looks like. So it's hard to budget for something that you know there's certain fixed costs within government and what have you. So that's one aspect of it. Is that one portion of it? And there is a bill finally that does actually tie cutting property taxes to increase in sales tax. It's not really moving anywhere, and the governor said, "Well, I'll veto any idea to raise property tax or sales tax." Well, okay, then where does it come from? And there are various different ideas out there, but really the legislature isn't tying that to these proposals. They're kind of saying, we'll do away with it, and then we'll see where it all falls out, and somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily great policy.
Well, let's see.
So we'll see where it ends up. I think that ultimately, in concept, and I've thrown out, and I've been, you know, because I have this unique perspective, and I've talked to a number of the representatives on the select committee in the House and other senators and others, and I've provided I think some real ideas for property tax reform and doing away with property taxes or raising homestead exemption. I think House Bill 207 is probably the best idea at getting at the real issue, which is first-time home buyers, new home buyers that feel the reset. If you're an existing homeowner and you've been there 15, 20 years, and I'm taking it up all the time, but it's a complex issue. People need to realize and recognize this. You're really not feeling, because you're protected by the cap, and so you're not feeling an assessed value going up more than 3% or inflation, whichever is less, because they Save Our Homes cap. Those folks aren't really that upset. They're not banging down our doors at trim time or when tax bills come out, because they they're not the ones. It's the ones who are buying from an existing homeowner, the folks that you're selling to, hopefully.
Yep. That
somebody's lived there 20 years and they're paying on assessed value that's, let's say they bought the home for $250,000 and now it's worth $1 million.
Yep.
That new home buyer is going to pay based on what it's worth now,
right,
minus any exemptions.
Yep.
And so maybe the tax bill that was $2,500 goes to, $10,000.
Yeah.
That's where. So it's really the issue of the reset and then resale. And so, I think that you could raise the homestead exemption to something more reasonable based on what it should be if you indexed it based on inflation since 1934 or whatever.
Yep.
I think that's one thing. I think that you could what House Bill 207 does is it actually it would limit the amount that the new home buyer their assessed value could go up to, I think, 25% over what the previous owner.
Okay, so
and
I
that,
like that.
That I think gets at the real issue here.
Yeah.
It still keeps the revenue stream from what the taxing authorities received previously.
Yeah.
Pretty much intact. They're just not going to get as much in the future based on velocity within the market.
Let me add something to that, because I think you're hitting on a real point. And by the way, if you just joined us, Coach Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser, in studio. Brandon Rimes here, your real estate economist here, realtor in Tampa Bay. So I'd like what you're saying in terms of there's some type of a cap that needs to be in place. There's got to be some and I agree. I understand that some people will perceive it as, hey, to totally eliminate property taxes is just, that's going to be a shock to the system, right? But I want to make sure people understand we're talking about primary residences. We're excluding we're excluding commercial properties, vacant land, Airbnb, rental property, those types of corporate-owned housing. Those types of things are excluded. Now, Dave, throw up the Florida DOGE thing for me, because I do want to point this out, and I know a lot of folks will say, "Oh, well, this is hyperbole, or this is exaggerated." But when you have $1.86 billion exposed, and they haven't even gone to all 67 counties yet, I just want to look at Hillsborough County. $278 million of what they've deemed wasteful, right? And I know that's arguable, could be plus or minus 10, 15, 20%. Yeah. In Hillsborough County, we have nonprofit organizations, NGOs, all these different people that just is rubber stamped every year. Okay, you got $1 million, you got $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million, and then and I see taxpayers getting frustrated and fed up from that perspective.
And they should.
Yeah.
But here's let me speak to you from a different perspective.
Yeah.
That $278 million, and again, it was modeled. It's like anything else. If you're from the outside looking in and you look at the budget, there's a story behind every one of those, every bit of that spending.
Okay.
And some portion of that, and it may be all of it, is you could deem as wasteful. If you do away with homestead property taxes,
revenue,
completely. Let's just, which is what the governor would like to do,
yep.
Right? It's on the order of $800 million of lost revenue in Hillsborough, unincorporated Hillsborough County, just the county.
Yep.
And so, which is, on the order of 3.5-4 times that amount.
Yep.
That $278 million that rightfully so, that DOGE pointed out, that our CFO pointed out,
yep,
was based on a 5-year period. So you can actually divide that by 5. It's more like 50-some million a year. Just the general, and again, and we can talk about my budget's separate, so and we can talk about mine. Okay, I'm not defending that. In our budget, we are the most efficient property appraiser's office in the state. We had 134 employees when I got there. We have 94 now. When you triangulate between the number of employees, number of per parcel, based on the number of employees we have, our budget, and parcels, we are the most efficient in the state every year. So you're more than happy to come look at ours. So I'm just
sure.
as a caveat, there's about a $2 billion budget that you're looking at in Hillsborough County on a yearly basis, just in terms of their general expenditures. $50 million out of that is again, to the average taxpayer, $50 million is a heck of a lot of money. Now if you're a starting quarterback in the NFL, it's not.
Yeah.
So you've got to put this in perspective.
Yeah.
A lot of this is leading up to this vote on this issue. They're really two separate things. If it's a spending issue, let's talk about spending. Okay, and I agree, and we should be good stewards, and every dollar needs to be accounted for.
Yeah.
If it's a revenue issue, it's kind of being conflated. But I can tell you, but again, those numbers are big, and and every wasteful dollar should be accounted for, and we can cut that out. If it doesn't get us where we need to get, okay, with some of the proposals that are out there on doing away with the revenue source, now,
and I think that's the challenge.
And that's the challenge.
Well, there's too many proposals right now, right? And if you don't have one clean bill to vote on, they're not going to reach that 60% threshold. And right, and I think that's maybe by plan.
Right, and the concern that I have, it either dies of its own weight because it's just, and there's some sense that that's what the House and the Senate. I mean, the House and the Senate sitting back and being the Senate.
They got to wait. Yeah.
Right. The House and the governor obviously have an issue going on. Speaker and so now the governor has pointed out he thinks that this is intentional by the House.
Yeah.
I think it's as much that as it is. It's a very complex issue. It's a big deal. It has great ramifications for the future.
It does. We got to take a quick break.
Okay.
Coach Bob Henriquez here, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Quick break, right back. We'll continue this conversation. Also, we'll talk a little football, and I want to get to the insurance topic as well. That's another huge insurance part of the equation when you think about PITI. That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Quick break, right back.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleaning, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast.
Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Rimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. Rimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rimes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Coach Bob Henriquez in studio with us. We're talking about the big item up for bid here in the state of Florida is the potential to reduce or eliminate property taxes. And I want to switch gears also and get into insurances because that's another big topic as well. And of course, we're going to start our overtime podcast back up as well. That way we can have more time to spend. It's just when you're up against the clock, you're just kind of pressed for time. But 9914 Ala Vista Drive, another $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We always feature our listings live on air. It's part of a strategy that helps our sellers sell faster for more money with less headaches. We've got a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1922 square foot elevated stilt home in Riverview. This is Gibsonton, that is 9914 Ala Vista Drive, Gibsonton. This one's at the end of a quiet street. You have access to the Gulf, and it's a beautiful property. 12,000-pound boat lift, 1,000-pound jet ski lift, fully solar powered, and you have a metal roof here. Hurricane shutters, professional landscaping. Check out 9914 Ala Vista Drive, Gibsonton, Florida, and you can see all of our listings at Platinum MVP Team. .kw.com. Search the MLS there as well, and to see our radio TV show experts and subscribe to our YouTube channel, check us out at consumerqb.com. Shout out to our veterans, all of our first responders, teachers, nurses, seniors out there, and what a show of military force this past week as well with removing Maduro down in Venezuela. But Coach Henriquez, I wanted to give you, we got about 3 minutes left, so I wanted to kind of hit on some topics. Yeah, yep. We'll do rapid fire here, but insurances, what's your thoughts on insurance?
Well, I mean, clearly that was the big topic of discussion, especially in wake of what the storms and rising costs of home insurance in particular. And that's kind of been, with the discussion of property taxes going away, that people have kind of forgotten to talk about, but that's continued to happen. Yeah. I actually had a proposal that I ran past Lawrence McClure, Representative McClure, who's the head of the budget in the House of Representatives, that he liked a lot, to actually tie a property tax rebate or refund to rising insurance rates, which got some interest, but it hasn't really been proposed exactly. I think there's ways, but I think that's something that continues. Although some of the reforms that they made in the special session, particularly in terms of attorney fees and some of those things, I think have helped. And there's some indication that there's a little bit more competition coming back in. Ultimately, there's still long-term going to be an issue that needs to be addressed in property insurance.
Yeah. I've heard from my representative. He's also an expert on our show, Danny White with SSW Insurance. He said, "Hey, look, I've been doing some policy quotes lately, and they've come way down. And just depends on which carriers you're looking at. Time about a minute left here. I feel like we're going to have a big influx of people coming in from New York, New Jersey, maybe even California, Minnesota. How's that going to affect Floridians? What do you see happening there next year?
It's hard to say. I mean, again, and there's also anecdotal evidence out there that there's folks that came down that are leaving now because Florida's become pretty darn expensive to live. Or maybe they thought that it was going to be better.
They're going to Alabama,
wherever
Georgia.
They're going, wherever.
Yeah.
So, we'll just have to see. I think it'll adjust itself. I mean, again, a lot of that is the immediate aftermath of the new mayor and what people believe there are going to be policies there. We'll see over the course of time. People are going to move here regardless. It's still paradise.
That's right.
And so there is pressure when that happens. If they come down and they quote overpay for properties because they come down, they've sold a property up there.
Right.
That's part of what's happened over the last few years coming out of the pandemic with the mass migration. But as you know, the market's pretty flat. And so right now it's a buyer's market. And so they may be coming down and paying prices that are a little bit less inflated than they were when they came down.
They can negotiate a heck of a deal.
Again, I'm a fifth generation native. I'm happy with the ones that were there. We're here, and the ones that are here, and man. And so I'm I don't want any more traffic. So
exactly,
they can come down and visit, but they can go back.
That's right. All right, Coach, pleasure catching up with you. Coach Bob Henriquez, Hillsborough County Property Appraiser here in studio with us. Thank you for tuning in to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we've got Super Bowl winner Martin Gramatica and former Buccaneer on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rimes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Thanks so much for supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. And one of our favorite expert contributors, Martin Gramatica, back in studio with us, Clearview Imaging Center. And Martin, give us a little teaser of what we're going to talk about today.
Well, we'll probably talk a little early detection, CT screening for heart disease, cancer, and football if you want.
Let's do it, man. I love it. Yeah, USF loses Byram. We lost a quarterback. We lost our coach, and I think like a handful or 20-plus other players, man. It's going to be devastating losses for the USF Bulls, but we got to rebuild, man.
Yeah, not as bad as Iowa State. They were only left with 16 players.
Are you serious?
Yeah, everybody else transferred pretty much or went in the portal. So, but Coach Hartline now he's coming in with some energy and obviously a huge pedigree. So we're excited about that because he's going to take it to the next level.
Yeah,
no
he's
question.
got the OSU, the Buckeye, kind of some of that mantra coming with him. So we'll dive into that stuff here coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And also the food pyramid is rolled out, the flip-flop of the food pyramid, and we'll talk about that and get into a little bit of nutrition and health as well. Also, Stephen Moore, economic outlook from Stephen Moore, one of my favorite economists, on why 2026 is going to be a boom. It's going to be a gangbuster year, and I think a return to the golden age of America. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We always like to feature our real estate properties on air, and if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, refinancing, we would love to talk to you. We've got a bunch of hot listings, about 45 current listings here in Tampa Bay, and we feature all of our listings on air. 12948 Twin Bridges Drive. This one's in Riverview. Beautiful property. This is a gorgeous home. 4 bedrooms, 4 bath, 3-car garage. You got 35 square feet, quarter-acre lot, Triple Creek community. Great opportunity to own a beautiful home. This is a home that has definite owner pride shining through. You have a large open-air kitchen there. You've got the beautiful open concept, split floor plan, gorgeous property right here in Riverview, Florida. Now, in the Triple Creek, you have the amenities, 3 pools, splash pad, clubhouses, fitness centers, playground, tennis and basketball courts, walking trails, all with low HOA fees and no flood insurance required. 12948 Twin Bridges Drive, Riverview, Florida. Another beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in your real estate deals if you're buying, selling, investing, or refinancing. We also have a property at let's look at one of our vacant land parcels, because we do have about a dozen or so vacant land pieces, and we also have single family homes, commercial properties as well. South Taylor Road in Seffner. This is vacant land. You can buy some dirt with us. We'll help you navigate that process of understanding what you're buying and how to assess that, and based on future land use, what you can do with it. 2.5 acres, South Taylor Road in Seffner. This one is zoned for duplexes, conventional or residential duplexes, high and dry, no flood zone required here, and a rapid growth in this area. I-4, I-75, I tell you, it's like Tampa and Lakeland are kind of growing together, and this is a perfect in-between area, close to downtown still, South Taylor Road, Seffner, Florida. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. Search the MLS there as well, and you can see all of our radio TV show expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
This is God's country.
All right, I want to start with this clip, just kind of the outlook of this 2026 year. and what we're seeing and the way that it's looking for the overall outlook. I like to look to the economists. They're studying things that are happening, and they're looking at what's happening economically with the manufacturing. And we got a clip from Stephen Moore here that is talking about that. And where is that clip? Let's see. Charlie Kirk explained that's not it. People see less.
Number one is the fact that the people will see less money withheld from their paychecks because of the big, beautiful tax bill. And that means people will have more affordability because they'll have a bigger paycheck as a result of that. Number two, Trump just announced in recent days and weeks that a lot of those tariffs that were imposed in 2025 are going to come down. That also is a stimulus to the economy. And finally, it looks as though the Supreme Court will invalidate some of the tariffs that were put into place in 2025. What that means is that a lot of retail businesses and factories and manufacturing companies will get a rebate check from the government.
Yeah, and there's been something like 31 groundbreakings on new manufacturing facilities. So I think that when you look at the economy, you look at what's going to happen with interest rates, that they're going to be coming down. It's going to be a great year, 2026. Martin Gramatica, what's your take on just in generally speaking?
No, we're excited. It looks like everything's going in the right direction. You see people excited to go out and spend money, which is good for businesses. So,
yeah.
and you just you can see like just the way people are acting. You can see they're ready, they're excited for the new year. So
yeah.
So it's nice.
Especially coming off of this military action against Maduro. I know you're from Argentina originally, by way of La Belle, Florida, where I'm from, and that's back when we played ball together, and your brother and everybody. But what do you think that is? Coming from a South American country yourself, and just kind of maybe having a little bit of a more of a touch point than I do. I'm a Florida cracker here. I grew up in Florida, but what do you think? And generally speaking, to remove a dictator like that has was funneling drugs in. They had I think it's something like 8 million people that escaped that country. Many of them came across our open southern border with the compliments of Joe Biden. What do you think, just generally speaking, around the Maduro?
Well, I think when you look at the president of Argentina, Milei, that's changed the country as well. So now a lot of the South American countries want to model that because they see what it's done for Argentina. In Venezuela, obviously, when you have a dictator, the thing that's frustrating is when you see protests, they're not even Venezuelans.
Yeah,
and
they're paid protesters.
Well, the Venezuelans are the ones that are excited.
Yeah.
So if they're excited, why are you protesting?
Yes.
At the end of the day, the Venezuelans are the only ones really to have the right to either protest or be excited because it's their country.
Exactly.
And when you see how excited they are, how thankful they are, then be happy for them. That's it. So it's going to hopefully move their country in the right direction.
Yeah. And it's going to strengthen further the American, that perception of American exceptionalism, the military might. And it's going to tell Russia and China, hey, step back. Be real careful of what you do. Iran, our greatest adversaries. And now I love how we're zeroing in on Greenland now. That's going to be another way to further solidify our strength in our own hemisphere. I love the idea of staying in our hemisphere somewhat. Let's stay out of the Middle East for the most part. And, so anyways, 2026 can be a great year. Also, the food pyramid got kind of moving into the health realm. The food pyramid got flipped upside down.
And HHS flips the food pyramid upside down, changing their guidance on what foods Americans should put on their plates.
So we're letting people know the truth about healthy fats, about the importance of protein, and about the concerns we have with highly processed foods.
Yeah, absolutely. Avocados, bananas, and then of course, hey, a nice fillet every now and then. Mix in your chickens, mix in your proteins. What's your thoughts generally around the food pyramid and health and nutrition?
Right. So I'm not a nutritionist, but when they flipped it upside down, I think that's the way I eat. And I feel good. And so I feel like, okay, maybe if more people ate, because we, obviously being from Argentina, we eat a lot of red meat and we eat a lot of protein. So, and we, as a family, we eliminated gluten. So we're gluten free because of all the pesticides and stuff they put in the wheat. So I love it. I love it because I think it's going to make us even healthier because that's, when you look at pictures from the 70s, the way people looked, and then you look at people now,
exactly.
There's a reason why. So I think this will definitely help if they follow it. At the end of the day, schools maybe will start filing, because I remember the pyramid from going when we were in LaBelle High School over there. They had it on the cafeteria. We didn't even know what it meant, but okay, I guess we got to eat this.
I've seen your Instagram too. I've seen some of those big old steaks. They look like the Fred Flintstone steaks.
That's Nico, man. Nico loves to cook. Yeah. That's a nice thing. The great thing is Santiago taught him how to do it.
Okay.
And now he's taking over, because I used to just start the fire and let Santiago handle the rest when we were kids.
Nice.
And then I hate doing it. Like, I hate grilling.
I'm like that too.
Yeah, so I'm good to eat. I'll eat whatever you cook, but I don't like cooking it. So now I don't even start the fire anymore. I sit back, and Santiago taught Nico how to do it all, and G, my middle one, likes to do it as well. So we eat a lot of protein, so we're good with that.
Yeah, I love that. Martin Gramatica here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Clearview Imaging Center, clearviewimaging.com. Get your scan, potentially save your life or a loved one's life through that as well. And I've got a great wife on many fronts. Great mother, great wife, and she's actually over the last year or so taken her own grains and milled the flour. She mills her own flour, so it's when you taste the bread and the rolls and the everything from pancakes to things, homemade cookies, you can taste a huge difference from something that's store bought. So I think there's such a big major difference in understanding what's in the foods that you're eating. Right. And then, of course, a lot of Americans are just running through McDonald's or running through the fast food places, and that's not good, for your children either. You're kind of setting their genetics in a sense. I think that when you're going through those fast food types scenarios.
No, right, and they have to cook it and preserve it for so long that a lot of times those preservatives is the reason why things don't spoil or last longer. So, but it's not good for our bodies. Yeah. I remember we were talking. My wife bought some organic potato chips, and she's like, "Oh, they taste like when I was a kid," and that's kind of what it brought her back to.
Yes,
that's because our stuff was natural back then.
Right,
and then you get your taste buds kind of change as they start adding more junk to it.
Yeah,
so that's why you have to spend more money to buy organic. Just because now it's more natural. So I'm happy the way it's going, because I think we need to be a healthier country. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
You know how other countries, some of the ingredients that our foods have, or our like cereals have, or are illegal in other countries.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. So why are we consuming it?
Yeah, exactly. They also rolled back, I think it's RFK with his Health and Human Services. They rolled back a lot of the vaccine schedules too.
I saw that.
I think they cut it from like 71 down to 11 or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So I think that just in generally speaking, and if you let the China virus and all the masking mandates and all the jab mandate, all that happened during that time frame, if you just look and follow the money, you'll see where a lot of that happened. And so I'm glad to see a lot of these positive moves, removing the dyes from the food. And remember that documentary, something like Super Size Me or something?
Oh, I saw that. To
your point earlier, they took, I think it was a hamburger from one of the fast food joints, and over the months, I mean, that hamburger just pretty much stayed the way it was, or cheeseburger.
Right.
So there's got to be something going on there, right?
It's definitely not real meat.
Yeah.
That's for sure. If it's going to last, months, Yeah, and that's the thing, and we have to be our own advocates. Like that's what I'm into now with the early detection, but also with our food. We have to know what we're consuming, what we're eating.
Yeah.
We just can't trust the label and just got to try to eat healthy and educate our kids on how to eat healthy as well.
Yeah.
That's important. That's what we do that at home.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot about that next generation, teaching them, and that way they're not repeating the bad habits. I see some friends and family in my life, I'm like, man, they're drinking all these sodas and stuff. I'm like, do you know how much sugar's in those things? It's just terrible. The Coca-Cola and the different sugars that's in those drinks is just terrible. But let's talk a little bit about Clearview Imaging as well. You're saving lives, and early detection is a game changer for you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. This is my 6 years doing early detection, and with our office in the Villages. Every single day, we're detecting either heart disease or cancer, and we've only been open there roughly about 5.5 months. So it's something that most people have no idea they can do, a preventative scan. When I started, I would say 99% of the people had no idea. Now you're starting to hear more about it. Obviously, we're advertising everywhere we can, but you can take your health into your own hands. You can go get a scan before you have a symptom to see if anything's going on. That's the thing. Once you have a symptom, obviously, I can't talk about heart as much as you can. You've gone through it.
Yeah.
But if you would have gotten a scan, we would have seen the calcium, then you could have avoided the heart attack. Thank God you're here able to talk about it and able to spend time with your family. But a lot of times, people, when they have heart attacks, they don't live to tell about it.
Yeah.
And with cancer, the sooner that it is detected, the easier it is to survive, or the better chance to survive it. But the most important thing, too, with good quality of life, eliminating the chemo and radiation if we capture it early. So
that's right.
Why not get something that can save your life before you have those symptoms? And that's why, I went in as a patient first, so I don't feel like I'm selling anything to anybody. I'm just telling you, look, this is what I did first. I was a patient first. I believed in it before I became part of a company. So now I'm very excited to be part of the company. I have 3 incredible partners, and we just want people to know that they can take their health into their own hands.
I love that. And Martin Gramatica here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. Other big news in housing, too. I mean, housing is such a key element to the American dream, but Trump threatens to ban Wall Street investments in single-family homes. And I tell you, this is such a big move. I'm so happy to hear about this. U.S. President Trump says Wednesday his administration is moving to ban Wall Street firms from buying up single-family homes in a bid to reduce home prices. So it's attacking the affordability. People live in homes, not corporations. Because a lot of times you see BlackRock, all these different firms. You've heard the names. They're buying up these single-family homes. They're turning around and renting them out, jacking up the prices. Sometimes they're doing some renovations. Sometimes they're not. And they're renovating, in some cases, and they're putting people into these homes, jacking up the rents. But what happens is you're competing for that veteran, that first-time home buyer. And we've seen that first-time home buyer age over since I've been doing this show now, almost 13 years now. That first-time home buyer age, it's almost 40 years old now. Martin, can you believe that?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when these big corporations end up buying all these properties, now they're flipping them as well sometimes. So that's why the age probably went to 40, because the 20, 25-year-olds can't afford a new home like they could 10, 12 years ago. So I like that, because now you're not competing with a corporation. Maybe you're bidding with somebody that has the same financials as you have, not a big corporation that could just outbid you any chance they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's take a quick break there. I want to talk more about USF, a little bit about USF football. You've got both of your sons there at USF now, the kickers for the USF Bulls, my former team, back on the inaugural team. I can't believe it's 30 years ago.
It's crazy
that it was that long ago. But, pretty amazing stuff. Martin Gramatica here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I also want to get to another story about the Trump kid accounts and just the positive momentum and the investments in capitalism that those accounts are making, seeding $1,000 to every kid born essentially during the Trump administration. Quick break, right back. More with Martin Gramatica here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right to the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. Tired of long lines at the airport? Check out Tampa Bay's premier private jet source. I'm Brandon Rimes for Will Smith Aviation. Aircraft management, acquisition, and sales, luxury jet escapes, and packages. Check them out online. WillSmithAviation.com. That's WillSmithAviation.com. Or call the show. I'll put you right in touch directly with Captain Will Smith. AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, online at davidreynoldsjewelryandcoin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for our friends at TargetSurveying.net. For all of your surveying needs, land surveying firm providing services for real estate since 1992, and they are statewide. Check them out online, TargetSurveying.net. That's TargetSurveying.net.
Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Buying, selling, investing, refinancing. We would love to talk to you, helping you sell your real estate properties faster for more money with less headaches. We're talking with Martin Gramatica here in studio with us, and he is representing Clearview Imaging Center, clearviewimaging.com. And a couple of hot listings, we'll jump right back into it. I wanted to get to the Trump accounts because it's such a big deal, in my opinion, for that younger generation to be able to start building that momentum that you need for fiscal responsibility, financial freedom. We'll talk about that here coming up. We've got a listing at 5026 Mueller's Lane, Safety Harbor, vacant land for sale in Safety Harbor, 3/4 of an acre lot. Build your dream home, buy some dirt, and build that legacy. Build a home right here in Safety Harbor, 5026 Mueller's Lane, Safety Harbor, just moments away from Felipe Park, close to the airport, and you're close to Honeymoon Island, Dunedin as well. Great opportunity to buy some dirt there and build your dream home right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Great opportunity right here in the local area. 1006 Kenmore Drive in Brandon. This one's actually a short sale. So if you are a cash buyer out there, you want to invest money into some short sales and an opportunity to submit an offer to the bank, we'll talk to you about this one. 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,500 square feet, quarter-acre lot. And you got a beautiful pool in the back with a spa package, screened-in lanai, and a great opportunity to buy real estate. No HOA or CDD. And it says no flood insurance required. Now, our insurance expert contributor, Danny, would say make sure you still, look at that policy. A lot of times you want to have a flood policy in any regard, and it's they're cheaper as well. Check us out online, consumerqb.com. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
He's just made in America.
All right, Martine, have you heard about these Trump kid accounts? That's such a really, just an awesome thing. There's an article here in the Epic Times, which I subscribe to, 6 things to know about the Trump accounts. But, hey, basically it's real easy. You seed money, you put $1,000 in there, parents can give money. The employers can give money to them. They graduate high school, maybe there's $70,000, $150,000 sitting there waiting for them.
That's awesome. Especially having 3 kids, but 2 that are, older. Yeah. It's nice when they have their own finances, they can help out and do their own, and have their own money. Eventually, you've got to be independent. Parents can't pay for everything or hold your hand your whole life. So it's nice for them to start with a little bit of a head start.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I've seen some of the NIL stuff. Are they participating in some cash flow from NIL and things like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, they are. I mean,
that's cool.
Not like the quarterbacks are.
What'd Byram get?
He got, I don't know. You hear stuff, but in the millions, obviously.
Got millions, yeah.
Yeah.
Good quarterback.
Great quarterback, great quarterback. But, Hardline here is bringing in some good players, too, so I'm excited for the next year because there's coaches that can take a program to a certain level, and then others can take it and run with that. Yeah. And Golish did a great job getting us to where we're at. And then Hardline, with his experience, former professional player. Yep. So now kids can buy into it a little bit more, but when the guy's like, hey, I did it. Yeah. Oh, do this. Why? Oh, now that he's achieved it, now they're going to say, okay, I'll follow my coach. So it's a little different when you have a former player. So I think it could be a great recipe for where USF is and where he can take it.
Yeah, exactly. We got to be hungry, man. I think at USF, when you're a team like USF, let's face it, you're going to be a second tier. You're not a Miami, you're not a Florida yet, but you're there. You're close, right? We're close to that, and we've been really close. But I think you got to work harder. You got to be extra hungry, and then I think our schedule over the years will get better. It'll improve. And, man, it's just kind of a frustration, though, because we were so close back when Leavitt was there and we were ranked number 2 in the nation. But, you can always say if what, then
sure, yeah. You know what's really going to help too, recruiting, is this new stadium.
Yes.
Because of the atmosphere. Because if you put 20,000 people at Raymond James, it looks like there's nobody there.
Yes.
And now the new stadium on campus is going to probably be sold out.
Yeah.
The environment is going to be great. Now, when you do a recruiting visit, you host players, they see that. And that's what attracts kids. They want to play in a full stadium environment. And so that's going to be a huge, huge asset now when they finish the stadium.
Come a long way since our mobile homes that we used to have our meetings.
I remember the first, the double wide Coach Levitt started with. So I remember I was at Kansas State. He was calling Joanne, which was Coach Snyder's secretary, to find out what are the size of the mailboxes. What's the size of this? He wanted pretty much everything that we were doing at Kansas State to do it here in Tampa. So it worked out pretty good.
Yeah, I remember hearing a story about Mark Stoops getting really upset that he had to clean toilets because they all had to volunteer and clean toilets. I mean, pretty crazy stuff. Martin Gramatica, check him out online, clearviewimaging.com. Follow him on IG. He's putting up some pretty cool steaks there, too. Some really good barbecue stuff there. But thanks for coming in, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. Always fun.
All right. Hey, another great show. Bob Henriquez, Martin Gramatica, and we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.